Alright, welcome back to the official Mensa channel. Today we're gonna talk. Yeah, I'm gonna do a set of character breakdowns on the new characters in BB Tag. You notice I don't really have to introduce myself or anything, but so I'm gonna go across Naoto, Teddy, Seth, and Hart, and I'm gonna separate them into a couple of videos. So this is gonna be the Naoto one, right? So the main thing is, first off, I want to start identifying goals for what he wants in a partner, and then talking about how partners can best use him, you know, active switch stuff, his assist set and stuff like that. So I've got my trusty little notebook, and I'll give a few recommendations for partners. So right off the bat, you can see I have Naoto Labrys here, and while I don't think this is like the strongest team in the world, I think they can display the synergy that you'd want pretty readily. So the other recommendations I have are actually Weiss, and I think Batista is also a really good pick. Merkava also works as well. So main thing, kind of like, you know, obviously we gotta understand the character a little bit. So Naoto's, you know, high damage infighter character. His main trait that is very abusable with assists and stuff is being able to close horizontal space very fast. Right? So we've got, like, you know, A-Rekka and stuff like that, and he can turn these into pretty threatening situations. So things that allow confirms from this, more so than just doing DP, pretty good. And obviously you want to be able to, you know, be safe in the scenario where it gets blocked, right? And that doesn't really look super safe, but look at this. Right? So, depending on the other character, we can work some stuff in here where hit. You know, depending on the other character, you can actually make that confirmable or safe or turn into an advantage situation, right? Because at this point, this is like pretty tight, right? So once Labrys gets in, she can start building Axe Meter or whatever, and you know, you can actually back a little bit of threat behind it. So that's pretty nice. But one of his flaws is kind of dealing with like mid-range anti-air, right? So he's got a pretty okay anti-air in terms of recovery. Like, it's not forever, but you know, it's not great. He can cover this space really well. You know, he can get frame advantage from here, dealing with like things above him. But his Phantom Pain, he cannot do sway in neutral. He has to go forward, right? So anti-airing with him is a little awkward. His air-to-air space control is decent, but it's not anything crazy, right? So the other thing is his air-to-air hits can't convert into the classic Naoto damage. So things that help in that regard are really important as well. So here's a good example. So say, you know, I'm playing Labrys and I just call my assist and I'm like, I don't know, is that all I get really? I just get that little knockdown? Maybe I could, you know, milk it a little more. I can get the DP knockdown? No, I can't get the DP knockdown. So you want to think of ways where we can actually like feasibly like convert these situations. And there we go. We just got a really, really fat confirm. Whoops. Just jumping. So something like this just turns the entire like dynamic of dealing with him at that range into a different one, just because the confirms are going to be way, way, way harder to deal with. So from there you could go into Phantom Pain, you could go into something like, you know, B-Rekka. I think Phantom Pain is probably the best bet, but anyway, you get a full convert there. The main thing is like the corner carry is really good as well. So, you know, it turns those kind of like awkward hits into really high damage. And his air-to-air vertically is so good already that this kind of like working with his approach, he doesn't really need a ton of help moving forward, but he needs a lot of help responding, right? So that's another part of where Labrys actually helps a lot. Let's see if I have this in another recording. Okay, no, that's not it. So this one, let's make him not jump so that I could actually show you. Right. Oh, this is corner. So this is the anti-air one, I believe. Yes. So this becomes a really good anti-air option for him, right? Because look at this. If you block this, you're very plus. You're very plus. You go the wrong way, or we're kind of playing at this range, you know. Oh, but what if I go over? I'm really far, pretty safe. Labrys is there. Oh, okay. So her 4P is a really good tool for this, just because of how big it is, right? And it just kind of covers this angle that's really important for him. You could also do this, of course, you know, if you really wanted to. But in general, her assists kind of help with him dealing with things at that range, and he can turn it into advantage for her, right? So a lot of these things are kind of maybe pre-committal in terms of where you would call her, because it's difficult for her to confirm this kind of hit at that range, especially at that timing of the ball coming out. So at that point, right, so you have like the ball coming and you kind of just play it by ear, you know? You can kind of just play it by ear, and that's like the beauty of that assist for him. It lets you play a very flexible game. So, other thing, obviously this team does a bajillion damage. I don't really have all these confirms optimized, but they already do a ton of damage. So it's pretty fun. So talking about the other end, right? Two halves of the team. So from Labrys' point perspective, she gets Naoto 6P, right? Naoto 6P, it looks a little awkward, he flips. But the cool part about it is that it actually body blocks, right? When people try to approach you. So let's do this. Actually, I have a good recording for this. So just ignore whatever all this crazy stuff that's gonna happen. But look, see, I jumped forward and Naoto just stopped me from moving forward, right? So this helps a lot with Chain Knuckle, right? Just because Chain Knuckle covers the space at the bottom, and you know there's a bit of relative safety that comes in with him flying across the top of the screen. But the other angle is that converts, right? That will give you a fat convert, and you'll be able to turn these situations into very threatening ones, right? Because even if they block here, like, you can go crazy. So there's another aspect of Naoto's synergy that he might want from another character. Just being able to transition into an overhead that he can easily fuzzy off of, right? Because Naoto has a universal fuzzy, actually. So rising JB into falling JC will give you like a fat combo on everyone. It's like a ton of damage, right? So this is what this recording is designed to show, right? So if you get hit, he'll be able to confirm it. A lot of this is very push block safe. You know, it's very strong. So, you know, the mark of a good team is just being able to deal with push block very well. On the other end, so say we're doing stuff here and this is 2-hit push block. Okay, cool. Right? Okay, cool. We got a push block bait there. Even if I don't throw here, still in a perfect position. Oops. I should be able to do Chain Knuckle. Like, you know, you can play around with it, but already, you know, they spend a bunch of meter, they're still taking the pressure, and ultimately your guesses are not really gonna like overextend you very far. So, pretty good stuff, pretty good stuff. So the other thing, let's talk about how to use like Naoto's assists, right? Just for a partner. Labrys is kind of like an unconventional character. She's kind of like pretty standard, but a little weird at the same time. So one of the main issues that she has is air-to-air, right? So air-to-air for her is really weird because her air buttons have a ton of recovery for not a lot of range, right? And we've got this big old button too, right? What do I do with that? So Naoto 4P, as fast as it is, just covers a lot of airspace and makes it so that air-to-air attempts against her are very risky. Because if you jump, right, and meet someone in the air, let me just do this. You jump and meet someone in the air, boom. Right, so let's pick Labrys. Boom, that confirmed. Right? So it helps a lot. She's got a lot of recovery on her buttons here, but you know, that'll keep you pretty safe. The alternative is also she can stall very well in the air, so if you need to get out of a risky situation, you can use Naoto 6P that way, actually. So his 5P is pretty standard, you know, it's functional, pretty good hitbox. But also the other thing is it moves him forward so much that you can do stuff like, I hope she's not still push blocking. Oh, he is not still push blocking. But yeah, that'll set up Fuzzy. So, I mean, if you want to see the Fuzzy again, I'll show you, just to give you a good example of how it works. Right? Just like that, easy. You can do it mid-screen too. It's something that Weiss is very good at because she can set up a good height for him to be able to set up the Fuzzy, just like that, right? At this air dash range, you'd be able to get it pretty clean. Well, there's a specific timing to it, but you gotta practice it. You know, go into training mode and do it. So my last recording for display is this. Oh yes, there we go. All right, that's the dirty stuff. So. Oh yeah, the other thing is, obviously, you don't want to commit with her in neutral, so, you know, if you get these situations where you can get Naoto behind them with 6P at mid-range, because she's getting, like, you know, playing at that mid-range game, you'll be able to convert that into a threatening situation even without the sandwich, because this will not always sandwich, right? Especially if you attack them while he's coming, he'll kind of slide under, right? So at that point, as long as you can get an overhead out into a tag, you get like a 50-50, they got a push block. So it's pretty scary, it's pretty scary. So say we do something like this, right? Or not, because I didn't do it right. Yeah, so we get chain knuckle, but he's in front. Well, we could still get the mix up with the overhead, which is really nice. But, you know, if they happen to get behind, obviously you can just transition into change mix up. It's no problem. Anyway, let me go into this cool offense demo, I guess. So B-Rekka, if you didn't know, is jump cancelable on block, right? But it's a little awkward. So this is what the recording is based around, right? And it looks a little strange. Why don't I just anti-air because you get hit, right? Why don't I just DP because it whiffs? Why don't I just jump? Oh, that catches jump start up. Okay, I'll just sit and block. Nice. Well, you can get a combo there, I showed you earlier, but I think the thing is here, that setup was supposed to work on... Oh, here we go. Yeah, you have to block that correctly. Obviously, this could function as a mix-up as well at that portion. You can do empty jump low and stuff like that. And even if they jump out, they still have to take a Fuzzy. So... Hell yeah. That's the stuff I like to see. Anyway, you've got a bunch of pressure ideas with this team, you know. You could do whatever you want. The other thing about Labrys 6P for him is just because she's out there posing for so long, that active switch window is the entire time, right? This becomes an extremely potent guess, right? You can kind of just play at that range and always have the ability to just Phantom Pain tag, and maybe Naoto will get like smacked up a little bit, but if it's a very worthwhile guess in terms of covering that space, like super good, right? So, you know, that's the main thing. The other characters traditionally cover his Rekkas a lot more safely. Like we could look at Merkava, right? So you don't really have to do anything crazy to get a confirm off of this. Nor do you have to do anything crazy to say stay Mensa. Stay safe, right? So let's look at this. Right? I can't do the combo while I'm talking. But that is pretty good, right? That'll turn into a pretty fat hit. Just finish the combo, don't be like me. But, you know, look at that. It's pretty good, right? Guard all swap. Boom, boom, boom. That might not be safe, but that is very, very plus. Right? So the other thing that you have to consider when using these is one of the better uses of his rec is using them on whiff, right? Because the hitbox is enormous on that one, right? And you know, you just keep sticking them out. So you'll be able to retain frame advantage from anywhere like that, right? So that's one of the other things that Labrys can do as well, right? Because say we... Right? She could turn that into an advantage situation. But the main thing is you want to be able to do that. That is like so important, right? Even if it's on the third hit, right? You want to be able to do that. So Naoto could do it from full screen with Merkaba. The fireball just barely hits low enough. And you notice how I just slot off frame advantage. But yeah, that's going to be like a very staple part of his neutral approach. Dealing with like air-to-air stuff. Converting these hits is a little difficult. But, you know, a little bit of assist help can go real good with that. So, you know, if you want to do a bajillion damage, play this team. Yeah. They're really cool together. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. You get that nice air hit. You can do whatever you want. You can convert air hits that way. Just have fun. I don't care. Anyway, that's kind of mainly about what I wanted to give examples of. So, you know, in summary, we'll talk about characters that have high air-to-air whiff recovery, right? Because, like, look at this. Oh yeah, this is very interesting too. You can fly and call Naoto 4P. But, I mean, you're going to be using these moves to contest characters air-to-air, and you know, the riskier they are, the more Naoto 4P will benefit them. Obviously, you know, you can get some pretty cute stuff with Naoto 6P with vacuum moves, especially, because that'll force a sandwich. Anyway, those are just a couple examples on, you know, how to use this kind of thing. But, you know, it's really nice. Nice, easy, fun. Synergy makes a team fun to play. So. If you like Naoto Labrys, I'm also playing Naoto Labrys as my sub team. It is very fun. Anyway, I'll move on to my next character. So I'll wrap up this video, you know, tune in for the next one or something. I don't know. I like Naoto a lot more in CF, but you know, he's pretty cool in this game too. I'll probably put up a Naoto combo guide or something eventually, but thanks.